Next up at UFC Vegas 71, we have Sedriques or SD Dumas taking on Josh Fremd. Sedriques Dumas is 7-0. He's undefeated in his career. He's making his official UFC debut after a successful Contender Series win. Josh Fremd's 9-4 overall. He's 2-3 in his last 5. He's coming off 2 losses in a row, and he's looking for his first UFC win. And Sedriques Dumas, he's a street fighter, like a pretty famous one, I guess. I didn't know about him, but did my research.
I think he
found
was like one of the most notorious Miami street fighters, I think, is how he's described.
So he's a pretty popular street fighter. George Masvidal worked his way through the same sort of path, but he's different. Sedriques is technical. He's like, he knows what he's doing. Like, you picture street fight. No, Sedriques like has nice, clean, solid kickboxing where he uses technique. He has nice, clean takedowns. Like, he's actually a very good fighter that is composed and put together and does what he's supposed to do. He's very athletic. He's fun, and he's definitely somebody to watch this year. And the UFC, I think they did this matchup to get him a solid win. But it may not necessarily go that way because Josh Fremd is a very athletic guy. He's got some sneaky power in his punches. He can grapple as well. When he initiates the grappling exchanges, he does really, really well. He's got cardio. He's got athleticism. And he is 0-2 in the UFC, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's just a bust. I think he's a guy that's improving quickly. You're leaning back. You're making the faces here. Dude, shut up. But both of his 2 UFC losses were wrestle heavy. He was getting out wrestled in both of those. I think he could spoil the UFC's plans, but I don't see it that way. I think Sedriques wins. I have a bet on him. I got him at -130, which I don't know how I got him on Bet Online at -130 when they're saying the line opened at -150, but I can go ahead and put the ticket in the Discord if you don't believe me. But I did get him at -130.
I got him at -142.
Okay. So the opening line of -150 is just wrong, and we get that from Bet Online or from Best Fight Odds. Anyway, I got him at -130. I only did a half a unit. He's still a UFC debut. I may end up regretting that. I've seen a lot of people on this, and that's what happens when a lot of people like somebody, and sometimes these things don't work out well. Because Josh Fremd, you're making faces, you're rolling in your chair. The dude's an athletic guy with cardio, and he's somewhat talented. He's not a bum, and I wouldn't even say he's a busted prospect. I think he could actually do something, and that's the only reason I did a half a unit. I think I like Sedriques here, but Josh Fremd's the one with the UFC experience. He's got more professional fights, and he's athletic, in shape, can push a pace. It's not outrageous that he wins this fight. What is that stupid face that you have, and what do you think?
I think it is kind of outrageous. He's going to win this fight because you say athletic. I disagree. I don't think he's a UFC caliber guy. And that's no disrespect to him. I just think that some people just aren't UFC caliber guys, and he seems like one of them to me, especially in this matchup against the athleticism of Dumas. Fremd will always beat people that he can out wrestle, right? That's going to be his path to victory because the striking is slow. It seems telegraphed, a little loopy. He's definitely not going to be the better striker in this matchup, so he needs to win fights where he can out wrestle people. And Dumas, as good a striker as he is, this guy's a pretty good scrambler on the ground. He is very good in scrambles. And he had a quote that I saw that he basically said, listen, if I get taken down, I'm on my back. I might not get up right away, but I promise you I will always get back to my feet. And he really shows that in grappling exchanges. He's always working to try and sweep the position. He is never just flat on his back. And when he sweeps and he gets on top of people, he is a threat with submissions or TKOs as well. So I know that Fremd, can wrestle a little bit. I don't think he can even out wrestle this guy. And if he can't out wrestle him, he is going to get destroyed on the feet by SD Dumas because he is absolutely no joke. So I have the money line bet as well. And I feel pretty good about it. I think this is one of the better values on the card. I know it's moved. I mean, me and you got better odds than what people can get right now, -180 or whatever. But I still think that he is just next level and a real UFC talent. And I disagree with Fremd.
Everybody is going crazy over this takedown line. There's about 27 comments. This is the way that the takedown numbers work.
They extrapolated it over.
It's takedown average over 15 minutes. When I say it, I say per fight because it's these guys are fighting 15 minutes. His Dana White Contender Series fight, which is only one fight in the UFC, where the data was taken. He had a takedown and a submission in under 1 minute. So they extrapolate that out and they say over a 15-minute period, he averages 19.15. That's why that is the takedown line here. Obviously, when we get to Merab and we see Merab's takedown line, that's far more accurate because he has a much larger sample size. So don't go bananas over, takedown line, all 29 of you that did the exact same thing.
Wow.
$8,800 in DraftKings. You spending the money on Sedriques Dumas?
I think that the money lines that me and you got and that $8,800 could have been the best value on that. Just like we said last week, and I mentioned a few times the Tabitha Ricci bets we placed, that 3.5, I said was probably going to be the best value on that card. We got minus 3.5 on Tabitha Ricci for like, what was it, plus 160 or something like that. I mean, it was absolutely absurd that we got plus money on that bet. And I think the bets we have and that $8,800 is going to be the same type of thing.
It could be. Listen, I like him. I bet on him. I like him to win. I'm a little weary of full-blown UFC debuts like this. And maybe I have a little more respect for Josh Fremd than you do. Well, I do. I know I do. So that's why I only did a half a unit instead of more. But, I think $8,800 in DraftKings is probably solid. We didn't hit the 9,000 mark. He is a guy that can finish. He is a guy that can strike, grapple. He can do all the things. So he's probably worth that $8,800. And it's funny, when I was doing the graphics and all this, I'm 2 weeks ahead, especially this weekend. I'm going to be in Florida, so I already have 286 done. And I have a bunch of 286 bets, including the safety parlay, up now. So premium members, check those out now.
I have a parlay for 286 too. And I have another bet
both
for 286.
Both of us have a bunch of UFC 286 stuff up there now, which is next weekend. If you're not a premium member, we just talked about line movement in these last two fights that Jacob and I both got ahead of. I'm expecting the same with the 286 stuff, because even though these lines have been up for a little while, there's instant line movement where as soon as a line goes up, it immediately flies. And these are by people that spend a ton of money on tools and information and stuff like that to alert them. Those are sharps. They're going to hit it instantly. Then it'll level off. And then once the other people start hitting it, then it starts to move again. We're there. We're not paying tens of thousands of dollars for tools to hit it instantly, but we are right after that immediate spike. And that's why we're getting ahead of some of this line movement. And we're not always on the right side of it. Sometimes we're on the wrong side of it. But anyway, we got a bunch of UFC 286 stuff going. This Dumas line, the Aldrich line, a lot of these have moved since we've placed our bets. So check that out for only $10 at premium. But when I was doing this breakdown, this is what started this. I'm 2 weeks ahead. And Dumas, remember that old commercial? The guy's doing an interview. He's like, okay, Mr. Dumbass, Dumbass, Dumbass. And then he's like, it's Dumas. You don't remember that commercial?
No.
You're just being you. Other people will comment that they remember that commercial. I just ask that, you grow into whatever your normal personality is going to be and just stay there. Because I'm kind of over this one. You know what I mean?